Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sounds from the Cellar, hosted by the Olive Tree Madmen. Today we have an extraordinary guest, actor, singer, author, Grammy Award winner, Tony Award winner. You might know him from Hamilton. You also might know him from One Night in Miami. Some of y'all are gonna definitely know him from Saints of Newark, or with a new album out right now called When the Crooner Dies, and currently on Broadway in Pearly Victorious. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Leslie Odom Jr.
Dear Theodosia, what to say to you? You have my eyes, you have your mother's name. When you came into the world, you cried, and it broke my heart. I'm dedicating every day to you. Domestic life was never quite my style. When you smile, you knocked me out, I fall apart, and I thought I was so smart. You will come of age with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you when you blow us all away. Someday, and you blow us all away. Someday.
All right. Welcome, Leslie Odom Jr. Thank you very much for coming and doing Sounds from the Cellar with us. You're our inaugural guest.
Hey,
and you've
this is
known
gonna be really good in like 6 months. This is gonna be
think so.
amazing.
I really think so.
Right now, no, yeah, this is. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and it's so gracious of you to do this, and you've no one to blame but yourself because it was your idea. You wanted to be the first guest.
I came and I saw you guys here at the Olive Tree Cafe.
Mhm.
That's where I am. Yes,
Yes, that's where you are.
And you guys, Nick and I have known each other for a long time. And I came and I had a great time. Like the whole room was having this fantastic time. You guys sounded amazing. Every artist that was sitting in was great. And anyway, yeah, somebody mentioned the podcast and I said, I want to be on it.
That's amazing. It's really gracious and very generous of you. I don't think we could have the opportunity to start with a more exemplary guest in terms of what it means to be a dedicated musician, craftsman, and a generous soul. I've been consuming lots of your media and output in this last week and just absolutely loving it, from your new album to your book, Falling Up. And yeah, amazing.
Thanks.
You're currently, I guess the biggest breakout, let's call it, Aaron Burr. You won a Tony for Aaron Burr in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. And we could talk about that, but currently you're back on the Great White Way.
That's right.
Yeah.
In a show called Pearly Victorious, not Purely Victorious. Like Butter was saying in my intro. Yeah. We're a little over a year away from the 10-year anniversary of Hamilton. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
10 years. So there'll be lots of celebrations. But yeah, it's taken a minute to get back to Broadway, but not for lack of trying. I mean, this play here that I'm doing, this is a few years in the making, probably 3 years of real serious, dedicated work once we knew that we had the rights and we were going to get a theater. So it's been about 3 years of hard work, but probably 7 years or so of dreaming and hoping and wishing.
Wow.
And I understand you have a lot of admiration for Ossie Davis, and I even read somewhere that your daughter's middle name is named after Ruby.
That's
Ruby
right.
D.
His wife.
So
yeah.
I imagine this must have been a long time fantasy of yours to put this on.
Yes. I mean, when we when we named our kid, you know, we were just trying to. Her first name is a family name. She's named after my wife's grandmother. Middle name, I wanted something strong and something that, you know, that would have wonderful connotations for her, you know, throughout her life. So we thought of Ruby D and Ruby Bridges, of course. And so, yeah, I love the name Ruby. But Mr. Davis has been, a beacon and a sort of just the standard bearer for, I think, Black actors, most especially who are civic-minded, kind of, who have an interest in art and activism, who have an interest in saying more through your work, quite possibly than Hollywood always wants you to say with your work. But yeah, Mr. Davis and his wife had a 50-year history of living their lives like that, a real boots on the ground, art and activism, you know.
So when you approach a role that was created by a giant like that, do you study everything they did and try to replicate it? Or do you say, I'm going to take it my own way and I don't want to get too tied down to the way it was done?
Yeah, I study almost nothing that they did, you know. I mean, this was, the only difference with this was Mr. Davis as the writer, it is written with his voice in mind quite a bit, and the character is from a rural, you know, county in Georgia, the way he is, you know, I'm not. And so I did use a lot of his speaking voice. Our range is different. Our pitch is different. You know, he had a much deeper, kind of richer bass baritone than I do. So I wasn't going for that. But the sounds that he makes, you know, his vowels and his consonants and the words he stretches out and all that stuff, that was useful to me. So I studied his speaking voice a lot. But other than that, I mean, physically, emotionally, those things, I mean, that's the fun of acting. You know, I get to author that. An actor really gets to, you know, like a musician, you know, how you play the sonata, how you play, you know what I'm saying? You know, how you play the tune is up to you.
That's the art.
Yeah.
Those decisions are the art.
Interpretation.
Yeah. The inhabiting, the goal you set in terms of what your objective is and, you know, what picture you want to paint. Those are the choices, right?
Do you guys have an objective for these nights that you do here?
We like to study as well. We like to know where it came from and why it is, but also definitely take try to move forward as interpreters of song with liberty in that regard. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when you play like in a room that's kind of, it's relaxed, right? And you could meet it where it is in terms of like being a relaxed performer, and we are, and we have fun. But the goals and the objectives start as they got to a place where it was like, why don't we put a lot of like attention into the detail of you know, of how it gets done, like the arrangements.
We like the crowd to think that it's just like we get up here,
exactly,
but we're super detail oriented. And just the fact of being detail oriented brings an energy to it that the crowd doesn't realize they're feeling it, but that's what they're feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
They're feeling the opposite of a jam band, but it feels like a jam band to them or something.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of the magic of it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Cut this out of the podcast though, so no, you don't. I don't want you to give away your secret. But yeah, but that really is what we're feeling.
Yeah.
That really is what we're feeling. And like, I mean, it wouldn't matter if people know that. I mean, the point is, man, the way life moves these days, you know, every time we get up in front of an audience, it has to be with the desire to lay them out.
Yeah.
To lay them all the way out right now, right here. We did these with Pearly Victorious. We did these invited, we were still in the rehearsal room, and we invited small audiences of people into the rehearsal room to watch us. You know, a room like not much bigger than this, right?
Mhm.
You know, and that is not a thing that's often done, you know, in rehearsal, because it's part of we're still in process and it's precious. But I really wanted to make sure that by the time we had audiences in a Broadway theater, that I didn't want those to be our first audiences.
Right.
We need to get used to that now. We've got to get used to the laughter. We've got to get used to sharing this as quickly as possible. And so, yeah, we did those. And the thing is, it's like, you know, if you don't have magic here, you know, y'all are going to get invited to play at Carnegie Hall and Madison Square Garden and everywhere else. But if you don't have magic at the Olive Tree, you're not going to have magic in any of those other places. Like, it's about the magic first has to be in the rehearsal room. That's
Right.
you know, and then we'll find it again in the Broadway theater, and we'll find it again on the road. But you know, it's got the first place it has to be is right in the small room. You know, I'm a big believer in that. Hamilton was the same way. You know, we had small invited performances for people while we were developing it, and then off Broadway. You know, the off Broadway house was 300 seats.
Right.
And we did, you know, there's no difference in our performances.
Wow.
Whether, you know, the seats don't matter. We do the same show.
What about the staging and that, like the revolving centerpiece thing? Did you have that on the off-Broadway thing?
We did.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the same thing, you know, and there were edits and ways that we made it better when we moved on. You're always trying to get better, but it's like, I just believe in, like maxing out in the space that you're in. I mean, like, the roof needs to come off the olive tree, right? Like you guys do it. You raise the roof every time.
So when you say, you know, every time we go out there, it's to lay them out. How does that look now as opposed to different periods in your life? What's interesting and unique about the point that you're at now in terms of laying people out? What does that mean for Leslie?
It's so intense.
Yeah.
I am, as I really discover as I grow and age and I discover new depth and breadth in my instrument and in my abilities, you know, as life goes on, as time you know teaches me and matures me, and as my heart breaks and mends again and all that stuff, you know, so I discover these new facets. I mean, it is, our show goes by like a shot. It's 100 minutes, but man, am I worn out because of what I'm giving, you know, and because of what, and every time I kind of, you know, find a new gear or find a new, oh my God, that, you know, the bottom falls out and I realize, oh my God, this is way more tragic than I ever knew. Or this is, this is way funnier than we ever knew, you know, but it always requires a level of energy and focus and intensity, you know, that is exhausting. You know,
do you find you get to the place of like, of intention more efficiently these days as a like an experienced artist now? You get there as you would have, let's say, you know, with the youthfulness of you, like, and like a big ambition of like grabbing Aaron Burr by the neck and just giving it like all this fire and brimstone. Do you find like as like 10 years on, when you're bringing something to, you know, there's a more efficient route of like, you know, channeling the spirit or what it is you want from yourself when you're doing something artistically like that?
Is it a more efficient? I mean, yeah, but I've always been pretty focused, you know. With Burr, it was the same way. I knew that, you know, that Lynn had written a real responsibility in that role, that whoever was playing that role, whether it's me or, you know, now it's been dozens of guys have played the part now, but he has a lot of responsibility for keeping the proceedings moving forward and inviting the audience in and welcoming the other players for the evening. And so, you know, I don't mess around when it comes to that. You know, that's my job. That's my role. Yeah. You know, other people can have more fun because I take it so seriously. And the fun in it for me is playing my position. That's what's, like I'm the guy, like I have the most fun when the work is done. If until the work is done, I'm not really having a whole lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm focused. We might die out there, y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Until I know we're not gonna die,
Yeah.
it ain't fun, And so yeah, Pearly Victorious is the same. Like it's a similar road. I just have to focus up. But this one I have it's different material, so I have a different responsibility emotionally. This one is so much more joyful than Burr was for me. This is not a tragic hero,
right?
Yeah.
You said, you mentioned things that inform you, like heartbreak and whatever, or like different changes and or whatever, the big feelings that we have. And of course, moving into certain new decades as we age, there's things that come along with that, like kind of deeper self-reflection, work. And I've noticed that in the new record, which, by the way, I've been consuming, is really gorgeous.
Quite good.
I think when we get the chance to talk to somebody like yourself, there's so much journey to reflect on. I consumed your book and I've been listening to this record, and I listened to your first record. And for me, there's a stark difference, personally, if I may. On the first record, it's beautiful. You sound beautiful. There's great intention there. But in terms of being a cohesive artistic statement, it's a first record. Whereas what I really hear on this record now is, a statement both in terms of where you're at and, where you're at in yourself, and then aesthetically a statement. It's absolutely gorgeous and cohesive. It's really one song better than the next. Like really, really beautiful, man.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to talk to us about the process? Who writes what? How do you work there?
Yeah, we do. I remember when I was doing the first original album. So my journey was I was a singer. So I was an interpreter of songs, of other people's songs, whether it was cover songs or Broadway jazz stuff. And so the first album is jazz standards. The second album was a Christmas album. And I think, the third album was the one that was like, okay, I think, we should try to figure out what original tunes would even sound like, and how do we do this? Anyway, we did a camp. We did a writer's camp. Janelle rolls with a camp. I remember we were putting together that Mr. was the first original album. And I was like, I wonder if Janelle would loan me her camp. Like, 'cause I didn't have one, Then I thought better of that. I was like, you can't really ask another artist to loan you their camp. So
We call that a text.
right, quick text.
You could probably get away with it.
So anyway, I just started called. There were a few writers that I always wanted to work with, friends of mine that I knew I wanted to work with. My manager had a little list of people, and my label president at the time, Steve Greenberg, put together a list, and we showed up at this beautiful location. There was a place that I'd always imagined that I'll tell the story. So Skywalker Ranch, George Lucas's ranch. I did a movie with George. Yeah, I did a movie with George 20 years ago. And I remember he invited us all to the ranch. And I remember thinking, like, this would be an amazing place to do a camp if ever I was going to do a writer's camp. And so as we were putting this together, I was like, we need a place like Skywalker. We need a place like Skywalker. And at that time, life had taught me enough to know, well, shit, I just ask. They can say no, but you could ask. And so we thought of the perfect time, which like the industry is totally shut down, like after Christmas until New Year's.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing that happens.
Right.
Like, so I'm sure that ranch is going to be empty, And we called, and there were still people that I knew at the ranch, and they gave us Skywalker Ranch.
Wow. Is that in Marin?
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Been around there.
Awesome. And so we
Been in the
took,
woods, the Muir Woods, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
we took 17 writers up there, and we had
17.
Yeah, I think it was
Wow.
17 for the first one. and we had like a mood boards, and we had ideas and stuff. And so we wrote a bunch of songs, and I really love that record.
Who was driving that? Are you driving that?
Me.
Yeah.
Me and my manager. My manager is,
in terms of like what you want to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Me and my manager, what we understood for that album was we understood the sound much more than what we wanted to say.
Like. That's what it sounds like.
Much more than we wanted to say. And so this album, this being the second original album, I knew what I wanted to say. Right. I had the courage, I had the life experience to wrap that sound around my journal entries, essentially, to wrap my sound around what I was experiencing in my life.
Yeah, it's intimate, man. You go there. It's there's in I Surrender, actually, there's a point where when you sing the chorus, I was listening to it today, and it reminded me, and it's funny because the name of the album is When a Crooner Dies, and I want to ask you about that title in a second. But you reminded me in the I Surrender, the vulnerability of it reminded me of like Sinatra's late night vulnerability, like on those albums, like, you know what I mean? Where he has such a tone that's so real and so laid bare, but still such an artist. Like you never forget that it's Sinatra the singer. You know what I mean? And you never forget that you're Leslie, the singer. It's really something. Tell us about something of where you went in terms of like, context.
Yeah. There's a couple songs on this record that those are the demo vocals. And we've learned enough in our process now, 5 albums in, that my producers know when we record the demo, like, record it as well as we can, because we might want to use that. And so, because there's been, other albums before, I'm like, why can't we just use the demo? They're like, oh, it's not, we didn't know it, so we've had big fights about that. So yeah, with I Surrender, that song came out pretty quick. I knew what the sentiment was, what the moment was that I wanted to say. The song was probably written in an hour. Wow. Recorded it, right or less, but recorded it right after it was written, and that's what it is. That's the vocal. Wow. It's not, and it's probably my favorite moment on the record too. Awesome. It's not belabored, and it's just exactly what I wanted to say, and it sounds like the moment. So when I listen to it, I hear the deep breath of that moment, that place that we all get to. If you hang in long enough, right, you bang your head against the wall enough times, you will get to a place of surrender, or you'll go mad.
Right.
That's it. Those are, for those of us that have ambition, that are working hard, that those are the choices. You will come to a spot in the road that you can't handle on your own.
Okay.
Right.
And in those places, I have tried to get to surrender faster these days.
Excellent.
There's a whole lot of pain.
Right.
Until you will arrive at surrender or madness, but I just try to arrive there faster now.
Wow. Well,
okay, we want to hear you sing again. So I'm gonna ask you a question about your portrayal of Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
What attracted you to Sam Cooke as an individual? What about his character resonated with you?
I mean, he's one of the greatest singers of all time. So just as a singer, I mean, there's a real blueprint there. Also, starting in the church, the way so many of us did. Sam really is. He's the blueprint for the modern male R&B singer or soul singer. Sam was a soul singer, to be clear. Aretha said as much. Sam, because I mean, it was radical for there really was no. I can go off about Sam Cooke for a second, but you know, there really was nobody that had done what he did. You know, he was a famous gospel singer and could have stayed one for his whole life, and that's certainly what was expected of him. You know, and so there was no, you couldn't make a pop song and sing gospel music at that time. Like it was very rigid. If you weren't singing about the Lord, the church cut you loose. Right. His first pop song that he releases it under a pseudonym. It's you know, he releases it under Dale Cook. You know, he don't even want to use his name. But yeah, he had another church he wanted to preach to. You know, he wanted to preach to the world. He wanted to bring a message of love and humanity and joy, you know, to the world. And so anyway, there was that, just the man himself. But then Kemp Powers in that script was doing something that I haven't seen many times, if ever. You know, he really was. There's something about the nature of that motel room, of those four guys, those four very, very public men in a room with no one else there. So there was an opportunity. What I saw what Kemp was doing, I had to read it a couple times before I really saw it. Right. What I saw what he was doing, I was like, oh, he wants to show private moments. Yeah. This is not about so that, for instance, you know, it's like the stuff of Sam on late night couches and stuff, not as useful for that. Because that's not this Sam. That's Sam at work. Right. This is Sam when no cameras are watching. And Malcolm and Cassius before who's Muhammad and Mr. Brown. You know, so who were these men when nobody was watching? You know, and so it was a really exciting opportunity to sort of, you know, reveal their dirty, reveal that the substance of those relationships and the grit and some stuff that we'd never seen of them before.
Well, with that said, boy, are we excited to play the next song then. You want to sing a Sam Cooke song with us?
I'm going to try.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You do your best, Leslie. That's all we can do.
Please.
All right.
In a little tent, oh, and just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change gon' come as it is. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. Oh, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know, yes I know, a change gonna come. Whoa, yes it will, yeah. Then I go on to see my brother. Now say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me down. Right back on my knees. Oh, there've been time that I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming,
But I know, yes I know, a change gonna come. Ooh, yes it will, yes it but he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. There's been times when I thought I wouldn't last too long. Now I think I'm able to carry on. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time. Ooh, it's been a long time coming, coming, coming. It's been a long time, long time, long time, long time. I believe, long time. A change gonna come. Ooh, yes it will, yes it will. A change gonna come. Ooh, yes it will, yes it will. A change gonna come. Ooh, long time coming, yeah, yeah. Long time coming, but I know that a change gon' come. Oh yes, it.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah.
I've always wondered this about the actor musician. You know, a lot of times perception is a thing that is, leads the fan, the person that's going to be consuming your art. And I've noticed a lot of times it seems to be somebody who becomes known as an actor and an excellent actor. It seems hard for them, to me, to break that music wall down, as opposed to a music person cracking that actor wall.
That's true.
What has it been like for you?
For me, it's been a little bit easier only because like people, while I was acting in Hamilton, there was so much music in it.
Mm-hmm.
So people, they like to hear me sing Dear Theodosia or Wait for It. So when we were giving them, I'm still singing, here's some Christmas songs, here's some jazz standards,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like I got to kind of break in that ways, which was a huge blessing. It's just, not everybody gets that. So it's been a really wonderful thing for me. Not that I could not have planned it better for myself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really think it's a gift, a great gift in my life. The fact that I was introduced to so many people through Hamilton, that I was introduced as like, oh, this guy does a little bit of everything. Because that's all I've ever wanted to do is a little bit of everything or a lot bit of everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So people accept me. They accept me in the movie. They accept me they accept the albums, they accept, it's been tricky, like, finding a pop lane that didn't feel corny, you know. But anyway, the more that it is authentic, the more that it comes from my heart, the less cringy it'll be. I've learned.
I was just like, I've been in these streets, bro. It's like I've been in the streets, bro.
And there's so many great quotes in your book that my girlfriend and I were driving back. We had a long drive on Sunday, and we were listening to the book, and she was being chief note taker. And she's in a big podcast herself, and so she's good at the old interview thing. Yeah. And one of her your book is called Falling Up, and the current,
it's actually called Failing
Up. Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry. People make that mistake all the time. I don't even correct people, but that's the second time you did it, Colin. So like I had to correct you.
No, you gotta. So,
look, but listen to tape back. I didn't correct you the first time. I don't really say anything.
Meanwhile, you were like, "This, he didn't read nothing."
Not at all.
Purely Victorious.
It's because it's failing, and it's got that. It looks like falling to people. So
which is like silly. It's a silly mistake of me to make, because I'm actually about to get to the kernel of why it's called failing up. In that you said spectacular failure is the heart of your biggest successes, kind of, or
Yeah.
And when we were listening to that, I'm gonna go find her question here, because there was a certain point in the book, or when you were talking about the Billy Porter part, where he asked you to go to a 10, you were quite resistant, because at this stage in your training and career, your strategy was all around how much you were going to prepare, knowing your limits, and playing safely within them. Billy he pushed you off a cliff, which you did very reluctantly. And it was a big moment for you in terms of like self-discovery, other gears, and what you would use then going forward.
Yes.
And that you said that in training, and it makes so much sense, right? That in school, there isn't a class on risk, right? On taking risk, and what that, particularly, in the art and in your business as you go forward.
Yeah.
And so the question that she had was, if you had to curate a college class with the sole purpose of giving students room to fail spectacularly, what might the curriculum look like?
What a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I know the answer.
Okay, go.
Because like the curriculum, it doesn't matter. Like the curriculum would be based on whatever the curriculum is, right? You know what the key for me would be: no grades.
No grades.
Pass, fail.
Wow.
That's what it was. There was something about who gets an A and who gets a B, and
right.
what's a C student and an A student, especially in art. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
You know what I mean? That like essentially, if I was training artists, for me, it's like you show up. Listen, I'm gonna give you homework, and I want you to do your homework. But even if you don't do the homework, show up. I'm gonna berate you. I'm gonna make you feel like crap because you didn't do the homework. But you being here is what's important. Sometimes we don't have time to do the homework. Sometimes sometimes it's just your presence is sometimes enough.
Yeah.
And hopefully showing up unprepared enough, your integrity will kick in, the competitive thing, will rise up within you, and you will start to prepare and be, prepared for my class. But I'm not here to grade you.
Right.
I'm not here to tell you what's an A student and what's a B student. All that's ego stuff. If you show up, you pass. If you don't show up, you fail.
Right. But how do you encourage risk specifically?
Well, it's like, I think that something like that builds a trust.
Yeah.
The no grades builds a trust.
Gotcha.
And then you tell people the truth.
Right.
What Billy did was, Billy didn't have the same conversation with every performer. Some performers, look, we all know these performers too. I know performers that are wild. All they do is risk.
Yeah, right.
Everything they do is come out
and
and I'm wild.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's incredible.
Yeah.
But what those people need to find is some polish.
Yes.
Is some learn how to, learn how to craft a moment.
Yeah.
and
Right.
you know, a beginning, middle, and an end.
Mhm.
And you don't gotta sing all your highest notes all night.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you would save them, if you would, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like what those people need to
Yeah.
learn is a whole different thing.
Mhm.
They need to watch Lena Horne and people that really knew how to craft, you know what I mean? So
For those people, the risk is like not filling the spaces.
That's right.
They feel terrified of not having a space.
That's
you know,
right.
filled.
what
you
they
know?
what they would feel is like, oh my, I can, what, you know, well, I can't just sing an I Surrender. I can't just do
Right.
a simple song like that. They need to hear a high note from me. It's like,
Yeah.
no, maybe we don't. The risk for you is like, so it's just, I think it's everybody needs a coach, man. You know, Olympic athletes have coaches.
Mhm.
NBA All-Stars have coaches.
Yeah.
And if you're really lucky in this life, you find your way to a coach. And if you haven't found your way to one yet, grab the next one you see. The next person that crosses your path, that inspires you, that you think you can learn something from, grab them and hold them close and ask them to tell you the truth about what they see. That's what Billy did.
Right.
And others, other teachers and mentors have done for me. They've really just given me so much.
I'm grabbing Leslie, by the way. So,
Dibs.
No, but talking about mentorship, that's a very big theme in the
Yes.
book. You know, you talk about the first one you mentioned is your father-in-law, Stuart Robinson,
Yes.
and then you very many from your teachers. Who is Miss Stewart? No, Miss, what was her?
Miss Turner.
Miss Turner. But I feel I've seen a few interviews, and it feels like you know, having put so much stock in and mentorship being so dear to you that it is kind of coming to your turn, and I feel like that you want to kind of pay it forward in that way. Like where do you see yourself in terms of you being a mentor these days?
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. There's I have a few guys and a young lady actually too that hit me up all the time, and I'm so grateful because there was I remember when I got to LA, I so desperately wanted to like sit down with somebody to ask them. You know, I wanted to find somebody that did some TV, some movies, and some music, some theater, you know, so that I could ask them how to find my way to that. I was trying to rack my brain. Who is that? And how can I sit down with them and ask them what the path is? And a lot of times when you can't find the person that you're looking for, the thing that you're looking for, is because you're supposed to be that person. There's a gap that you see that other people don't see, and so you gotta do that. But I want to know about you. Who are your mentors? Who are their mentors, and what is the most important thing so I can learn something today? What's the most important lesson they taught you that you can tell me so I can?
Man, I had a mentor. His name was James Harvey. He lives in Vermont. He's a trombone player, keyboard, piano player, drummer, composer. Brilliant, tortured, beautiful soul. He gave me a gig when I was 18. He had a jazz band, and he was the drummer and band leader in that band. And I remember during one rehearsal, he goes, listen, man. He goes, everybody in the motherfucking band needs to play like the motherfucking drummer. Or no, first thing he goes, the drummer's got to be the baddest motherfucker in the band, and everybody in the motherfucking band's got to play like the motherfucking drummer. And I was like, word. And what he was talking about was rhythm. And he was talking about intention and rhythm and space and accompaniment and being able to push it to these limits. And that was awesome. For me.
I'm a big fan of Paul Robeson. Now, when you talk about somebody who did a lot of different things, if he was alive, that's the person you could have went and sat to. Because he did it all.
Mm.
And you add sports to that too. For Letterman, you know, he was not a joke. Spoke 10 languages. So yeah, if he was alive, that's you supposed to be that person, because there's not that many people that can do all those things. So yeah, I really could feel what you were talking about when you said, maybe I'm supposed to be that person because I want to do all these things. Yeah.
You got a mentor now?
I have several. I mean, you know, Billy's still important to me, and I mean, Kenny was one. You know, I learned a while ago too. Like, it's not. This was a big revelation, kind of in my 20s. It's not even, because sometimes the young cats, they won't hear it from somebody that they don't think is better than them.
Right.
You know, a lot of the talented cats, it's like, you know, if they don't feel like somebody really, you know, can see them on the instrument, they don't have nothing that, but for me, like, I can learn something from almost anybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, is that something that you realize more and more? It probably is,
More
right?
and more,
you,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, my
you there's
children
a
teach me.
tighter lens, right?
My children teach me. I'm their main teacher, and I get that. But
Right.
they teach me all the time. You know,
Yeah.
they're babies. You know, but
Yeah.
I can learn from anyway. The director that I just worked with, Kenny, he was really fabulous for me. You know, and anybody that has an outside perspective, we can't see it, we can't hear it. You know, so anybody that's sitting out there that's willing to tell us the truth, even if they don't know as much as we know, even if sometimes they're saying it, you know, in a crueler fashion than we might wish they would. I learn all the time from critics and from people who are sometimes being a little shady, saying something. I'm like, oh no, I'll take the note.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Noted.
You-
Fucking lootly.
You're good at being objective while they're delivering a sting intentionally. You go, there's the good in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It looks like, look at the way it's
Poison
played.
You see what I'm saying?
It's like motivated.
yeah. Oh, there's almost nothing. Oh, there's almost nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't love that as a
Sure, no one does.
as an engine,
Yeah.
like as a gas. In my 20s and 30s, like I really like there was no better motivator to me than anger. Like to piss me off was like, oh, you about to send me? I'm about to fly tonight.
Yeah.
So now I don't love that, but I can absolutely use it.
Mm.
Yeah.
It could be that light, that match,
Yeah.
that spark that blasts you off.
Absolutely. Well, because, you know, to me, what makes me angry is, I think, you know, when I get down to what makes me angry is like, you could have said the same thing in a way that was kind, like in a way that didn't destroy me. If you're a critic, for instance, it's like, how about you take into consideration, my favorite thing is when they take into consideration the body of work. Like, is this somebody you want to see more stuff from?
Right.
Because the way you critique somebody like that is, you know, I enjoyed the past work. I hope that you continue to make more work. This might not be for me because of this, that, and the other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Rather than like throw the whole dude away.
Right. That's my exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that sort of thing of like, you just don't have it.
Right.
That makes me crazy. Because it's like, I got anything. What you mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What are you looking for?
Right.
I can change. I can adapt. I can learn.
Right.
That's what we do all the time. You know, but people so often they just write us off. You know what I mean? Like, they're not really.
Yeah.
So that thing pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So looking ahead, are there any specific goals or aspirations you still yet to
Hell
want
yeah.
to come? Yeah, that you like on a board that you
I
ready.
want to direct a movie,
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that's gonna be that. I mean, that ain't happening no time soon. You know, but like a few years from now, I'll be back on the podcast. When y'all finally have your act together.
Yeah,
Got it
yeah.
together.
No, listen, when you finish the EGOT, you're welcome back.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
great. You get the EGOT.
All right, then and come back here, right? Not until then. I got
That's
so
that motivation.
That's right.
We're not sure if you're gonna get
Right,
it.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And how's that process going to look like? You know, looking at scripts and
I'll probably have to develop it. And most first-time directors, the only person that's gonna let you direct their movie is you. Like you have
Right.
you kind of have to write it yourself
Yeah.
and direct it yourself. And it'll be the hardest thing I've ever done, but
Sure.
that's what we do. With
that's
like,
it seems to be what you do consistently.
yeah, it's like, you know, after Hamilton, it was like, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I gonna do that's harder than that?
Yeah.
And I've been looking, you know, and developing those
Yeah.
things for myself ever since, and I'm gonna keep doing that.
One of the things, another one big facet that I pulled out of the thing was when you came across the power of no. And you know, a lovely quote was, "Don't let anybody's fear or your own fear take ownership, your sacred ownership of your yeses and your nos." And obviously, that's very important now, going into, you know, to things that you're choosing.
Yeah.
And this was a question I was thinking of, and it might be too much, but and you can just flick me off with this one. But do you have in mind like something like what was your hardest yes or your hardest no? I don't know what a hard yes would be, but like a hard no.
A hard no. A hard.
I guess
no.
when you said, I mean, the example that you gave in the book is Aida when you were going to go to
That was a hard
Carnegie
one,
Mellon. Yeah, but anything since?
Sometimes, I mean, you know, yeah, there was one. That one too. Yeah, there was. I'll say there was a pretty big director that wanted me to do a film that was very important to him. And the film was going to take up a lot of time. You know, films, you know,
They're no joke.
they're no joke.
Yeah.
And you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, you know, that kind of thing, you know, depending on how big the picture. And it's like, I just didn't have that kind of time. I didn't feel about the project the way he did. And I just couldn't see giving this brother, you know, as much as he's dear to me, couldn't see giving him 9 months of my life.
Yeah,
it's my life,
and your family's life.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like that's not an easy thing to look at somebody that you admire, who's offering you an opportunity. It's like, you know, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. But so that was a hard one.
Yeah.
And I don't know what a hard yes would be.
I guess, I don't know. Probably, yeah. There probably isn't one, you know, beyond like when you were a kid and like just kind of acquiescing to discipline, which you did pretty well.
I think the hard yes might be this. It's like, you know, the hard yes is the one you give to yourself. The yes you say, the one when you finally say, I'm going to do the things that mean something to me if nobody listens to them.
There it is.
Yeah,
if nobody believes in this shit, I'm saying I gotta say yes to this. I gotta say yes to myself. I gotta say yes to the thing that I'm inspired to make.
Yeah,
that's the hard yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty golden. Well, so we're looking forward. What a rich time for you. You've got this show that means a lot to you. That is the biggest challenge, and you've got this record again. When a Crooner Dies. Oh, I never asked you about the title. So When a Crooner Dies, do tell.
I'm not telling. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, y'all know how it is. It's like, yeah. It's,
okay.
It is open for interpretation.
Sweet. I dig that.
It means something to me.
Let's play one from it.
Let's do it. Listen, Leslie, it's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure.
I don't know. I'm over the moon. It's great. Let's do this one.
Great acknowledgement.
Thanks, Leslie.
I think we're gonna do "Show Me" off the record.
Oh yeah, let's do
Anything
it.
you got to say about that?
Show me.
Oh, this lovely singer
Tatiana.
on that.
Tatiana
She's
Clark.
bad.
She's oh my God.
Yeah.
She's one of the best singers God's ever made, and a beautiful pen. Tatiana, over the pandemic, you know, during those days locked in the house, I came across this singer and I just loved watching her videos. And then remember there was that you know, 3 weeks or whatever where everybody was using that app to write their own songs. It was a loop. It was like a loop app, and people get on.
Yeah.
And Tatiana, you know, I've heard kids of her generation, they give away so much for free. Like they be all the time. You see, they just tweet out brilliant ideas for scripts, and somebody should write a script about blah blah blah. You're like, yeah, you should. That's a great idea. Right. You know, and Tatiana was like she would sing these little songs off the cuff that were great songs. And so she was. And when we were doing this camp, I hit her up on Instagram and I was like, would you ever consider coming to a camp? And she was like, I would love to. I guess. She's
like, yeah,
Mississippi. She still lives in Mississippi.
Did she write this with you?
She did.
Wow.
She wrote this, and it started as a prayer. You know, one of those. I don't know if anybody else has felt this, but like, you know, especially girls do it too. But I know guys, like, you know, sometimes we have to, in order to make it through the day, like we put our vulnerability in a chest, and then we bury the chest, and we take the map and we rip it up, and we throw, you know what I mean? Like, fuck vulnerability. Like, I got this. But I was in a situation as an artist where like I needed my feelings.
Yeah.
I needed my access to them, and I hadn't realized that I had life. You know, I needed to tape that map up and figure out where the chest was, and go open the thing and get my heart back. You know what I'm saying? And when the thing is, when you put your heart back in your chest, it does mean that, yes, it can get broken from time to time, and life, you know, you walk around, you're a little more sensitive, but that's the way for me.
Wow. Well,
this is
that's
show
it.
me.
Well, ladies
Show
and
us.
gentlemen.
Leslie Odom Jr., ladies and
Leslie
gentlemen.
Odom
Maybe you
Jr.
heard of him.
Maybe you heard
Let's
of him.
go.
Tell me, is there something wrong with me? Don't know if I know how to feel. Don't know when the love got going for me. Hologram feelings, is anything real? Tell me, is it right or wrong for me? I don't really know what it is. Searching for a sound in the silence, a word in the quiet. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. Got this weight on my chest, can't forgive or forget. People pray on my best, got nothing left. Might be dark enough tonight to feel the pain. Can I trust myself enough to make a change? It's hard to imagine, can't even grasp it. Misunderstanding. Out of love, tell me, is there something wrong with me? Don't know if I know how to feel. Don't know when the love got going for me. Hologram feelings, is anything real? Tell me, is it right or wrong for me? I don't really know what it is. Searching for a sound in the silence, a word in the quiet. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. I wanna believe I did nothing wrong, said all the right things. Did you hear the wrong song? Might have thought it over too long. The season has changed, I'm still trying to move on. It's hard to imagine, can't even grasp it. Misunderstanding, yeah. Out of love, tell me, is there something wrong with me? Don't know if I know how to feel. Don't know when the love got going for me. Hologram feelings, is anything real? Tell me, is it right or wrong for me? I don't really know what it is. Searching for a sound in the silence, a word in. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me. Show me, just show me, just show me, just show me.